What is going on, guys? DBG here. In this video we are going to be doing a tier list, and this is going to be a tier list of the best power forwards. So just like in yesterday's video when I was making these players, honestly a lot of these guys are actually small forwards. The 2K just made the power forward position, but they can play there, and list their position, so that's what I'm doing. And also I'm probably going to forget at least one player, so I am sorry in advance. But before we get on to the video, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 160,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And as of right now, we're about 3,000 subscribers off. So it's crazy. Like originally that was for the 1st of May, and it's looking like we're going to hit it in the way things are going, it's looking like we could hit it in the next week, which would be absolutely insane. So if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. And also there is going to be a team up game from basically 10 of the biggest MyTEAM YouTubers. Myself and Henry the Blasian HDB are the captains, and that game is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And get the brooms out because it's going to be a sweep to Team DBG. The draft is my last video. But anyway, now we are finally getting onto the tier list. So first up is Jabari Parker. So Jabari Parker, I'm putting Jabari Parker in A tier. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this card. So he's got Melo's release. He can handle the ball, he can shoot the lights out. I think he's a really good card. He does a little bit of everything. Like, he plays a bit of defense. He's kind of just a better version of a card that's coming up later, and I'm going to talk about him. So, like, I really like Jabari Parker, and anytime I've used him, even in my God squad, he holds his own just because of how good he shoots. So if you can shoot like him, you're always going to be able to hold your own, as well as the fact he's kind of solid at everything else. Then we've got Sharif Abdur-Rahim. So Sharif Abdur-Rahim, I'm going to put him in... I'm going to put him in B tier. I don't quite think his release is as good as Jabari's. He's kind of like a poor man's Rudy. And I think that Abdur-Rahim is a pretty good but not unbelievable card. He's a solid player. Like, he's more than usable. You can 100% win games by using him. He is 100% usable, and I wouldn't advise you, if you have him in your squad and you don't much MT, you don't really need a major upgrade from him because he's a really good player. But yeah, that's really it anyway. So Sharif is in B tier. He's just an overall just solid player. Then we got Rui Hachimura, who is basically Jabari Parker with one less quick draw. So I'm going to put him in B tier. Even though Rui does some things better, like he's better inside, he's a better defender. I just prefer Jabari Parker because he's a better shooter. Even though I do really like Rui Hachimura, actually I'm going to put him I'm going to put him in A tier beside Jabari Parker because each of them do certain things well. But I'm bigger on Rui than most people are. Most people don't like his release, but I don't know, I just got down. I just got that Melo release down, and apart from the pink diamond who is quick, who is steady, I have that release down with every single other player. So Rui Hachimura is going into A tier. Probably a debatable one, but he's going there. So Christian Wood's another interesting one because he doesn't have much of a post game, but he can burn people on the perimeter, and he's got an unbelievable release. However, no range extender. The fact that you can't really play him a power forward, he gets kind of abused there. You also can't really play him a center, kind of a tweener. I don't think he's as good as any of these players, so I'm going to put him down in C tier. Doesn't really have any standout strengths, but overall is just a pretty solid but nothing unbelievable card. Then we have got Jonathan Isaac. So Jonathan Isaac, for certain people, they would have him up there in S tier or A tier because he plays kind of like Giannis. He plays very like Giannis, and he's Giannis with a better release. And actually, to be fair, I do like Giannis' release. He is very comparable to the pink diamond Giannis. So I'm going to have to put him in A tier. I don't necessarily like using those type of players, but I do think that in most people's hands, he's going to be really good. And there's a reason why you see him as the starting power forward for someone like Ty Debo, who's the best player in the world. There's a reason why you see that, and it's because Jonathan Isaac is obviously a fantastic card. Then we are on to Julius Randle. C tier. He doesn't really have much going for him at all. He's undersized. He's not a great shooter. He's not really good at anything. So yeah, I'm going to put him in this tier. So next we are on to Charles Oakley. So Charles Oakley is a card that I really like. He's got that Hall of Fame defensive leader, but like I have him on the list. He's a really good card and a really good option for his price, but I cannot put him any higher than D tier. I'm sorry, I really like the card. I cannot put him any higher than D tier. Rocco, he's really good at specific things. So he's got really good length. He can shoot the ball well. I'm not the biggest fan of his animations, but again, he is fantastic, so I can't really justify putting him below A tier. There's a lot of things he does really, really well. Like, he's an unbelievable defender, he shoots well, and his player model is huge in game. It's a little bit like Kevin Porter Jr., where his player model just seems way, way bigger than he actually is. For that reason, Roko is going here into A tier. And yeah, so we've got 2 Spotlight Sim players and a token reward so far in the A tier. And then we got Brandon Clark, who I'm going to put down here in B tier. So Brandon Clark is a pretty good shooter, a pretty good defender. He's basically, in my opinion, a slightly worse Rui. So Rui's got like Hall of Fame quick first step. He's a little bit better in terms of ball handling wise, and I prefer his releasing just slightly. But Brandon Clark is like a slightly worse version of him. Although Brandon Clark is a better defensive card, so it's definitely preference. Some people prefer Clark, some people prefer Rui. I personally prefer Rui. Then we got Larry Markkinen, who I'm kind of torn between putting him in D or C tier. I'm going to put him in C tier because stats-wise he shouldn't be that bad, but he's been terrible for me anytime I've used him. A card that I thought could easily have come in as my center because stats-wise he kind of does everything well. He's got Limitless, he's got an okay release. It's just something about the card. He just doesn't play defense, he doesn't get rebounds, he just gets bullied inside. So, and he's not quite like Thon Maker. He's basically Thon Maker without the movement of Thon. So, not a chance he's anywhere above C tier. And then we're going with Danny Manning. So I'm going to put Danny Manning down here in A tier as well. He's got base 11, so he's a really good shooter. He's got a really nice release. He does a lot of things well. He just does not rebound well enough to really be a factor. And at times he can be a hologram on defense, which is not great. But no, a really, really good player. And overall, Manning's good. There are cards I definitely would take over him, especially the higher tier cards, but Manning for a budget player is really, really good. And we got Derrick Jones Jr. He doesn't have the greatest release in the world. He's only 6'6", can't really play the power forward position at all. And he's still undersized for small forward. Stats aren't great, can't really post up. So yeah, I'm putting him down to C tier. Although he can dunk, go by people and shoot the ball a little bit, so can everyone above him, just they can do other things well as well. We got Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is going into B tier. So again, he's got an okay release. I say Miles Bridges, not Mikal Bridges. Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is an alright release. Again, he is 6'6", so he's a bit undersized. And he's even undersized for small forward position. Shoots the ball well, but at times can be a bit of a liability. Not gonna lie. And we got Gerald Wallace. So I'm gonna put Gerald Wallace up here in A tier. I probably have too many players in A tier, but Gerald Wallace is gonna be there. And the reason why I have Gerald Wallace there is I think he's basically Miles Bridges with a better release. Simple as that. Gerald Wallace's release is one of the best in the game, in my opinion. When he's getting it on the move, he's money. When he's off the catch, he's money. He's got Limitless. He's got overall better stats suited to play a small forward position than Miles Bridges. However, like, obviously, Miles Bridges can't play the 4 because he's a little bit undersized, so as well as needed him to play the 4, and he's definitely a better small forward than Miles Bridges, so I'm going to put him up in A tier, but a really good card. So Paul Pierce, this is a really interesting one. So I'm going to put him, he has 2 major flaws, which means I'm going to put him down D tier, but he's still more than usable. He is more than usable, especially a small forward. He can't shoot from the corner. His base means that he steps over the 3-point line anytime he's in the corner, which is a big problem, and also that he's got steady. He has got steady shooter, which is the worst badge in the game because it starts making you miss open shots. So honestly, I can't justify putting someone who has steady and can't shoot from the corner over any guys in B tier. However, he is usable. He's more than usable. I just think he's a little bit inconsistent, and if you're on extreme budget, maybe he's alright, but unless you're on extreme budget, I would not be picking up a Paul Pierce, not gonna lie. And we got Jeff Green. So Jeff Green, Pierce is down here in C tier. Jeff Green, I actually would take Jeff Green over Paul Pierce, to be completely honest. So the only thing Jeff Green doesn't have is range extender. So Jeff Green is like, he's like budget Jonathan Isaac / Giannis. So he can handle the ball, he can shoot the ball, he can go to the basket and dunk, and he does all that really, really well. He can also hop step. Like, he is literally, when he came out, I remember I made a video on him calling him the cheap Giannis, because he is. He was literally the cheap all-star Giannis. He came out a couple of days later and was very much comparable. Like, do I think he's better than Giannis? No. Do I think he's comparable to Giannis? Yes. Like, I used this Jeff Green over the, Giannis, over the 96 overall Spotlight Giannis. That is how good this Jeff Green card is. But, okay, so next we've got Antoine Walker. And Antoine Walker, a bit of a weird piece. When he came out, he was really, really good. And now he's just kind of meh. I'm going to put him in B tier. Like, yeah, he's got a decent release. He just doesn't really do anything well enough. When he first came out, he was kind of jack of all trades power forward. He was one of the first ones that kind of had everything. Like speed boost, had range extender, could play defense on the perimeter and in the post. Could play in the post instead. However, there's just a lot of better cards that have come out since. I'm pretty sure he came out at the end of January. So, yeah, now you got Draymond. Yeah, Draymond's going D tier. I'm sorry. He's not absolutely terrible. He's not shocking. Like, there are definitely people that use him because he's a really good defender. But he's just outdated. He's just really outdated. Like, this card came out with the Andre Iguodala packs, which was the very start of December, I think. Yeah, Dwight Howard is the end of November. Iguodala was the start of December. Or Draymond Green was the start of December. So, I'm genuinely going to put him there in D tier. And he's just not good enough on offense. His release isn't good enough. He's just overall just straight up not good enough. Then we got Ingram. Okay, so I'm going to keep Ingram a little bit off the top tier, because I do like Ingram. I actually think this Ingram's a really good card, and I don't think he's that much worse than the Siakam. So anyone go for the Western All-Stars for the Ingram, you've got a pretty good card right there. But he's just not great. He's just not, like, worth the grind, is he? Like, is he that much better than Rocco? No. Is he better than Rocco? That's a debate. He handles it well, shoots well, does everything well, but so does every card in his tier. And I don't quite think he has the greatest release in the world. Then we got Siakam, who I actually do really like. I'm going to put Siakam in S tier. So, Siakam's pretty good. So, Siakam is definitely, well, not pretty good, he's very, very good. And a better release can handle, has got length. He's a little bit like Jonathan Isaac if he had range extender. So, for that reason, I'm putting Siakam up here in S tier. Definitely a really good power forward. And then we got Dan Issel. And I'm so tempted to put Dan Issel in D tier, because he is so bad as an opal, but he's bad as an opal. He's not that bad overall. Yeah, he doesn't do anything well. He's like he's like Christian Wood, basically. He's almost the equivalent of Christian Wood. So I'm going to put him down here in C tier. I actually prefer Christian Wood because he's taller, but he's basically Christian Wood. Then we've got Michael Beasley. Beasley's pretty good. I'm going to put him in A tier. So Beasley can shoot, he can get to the basket, he can dunk. He's had a bit of a funky release, but you know what? He's still a really good card. Either way, Michael Beasley definitely belongs in A tier. Next we have got Zion Williamson. Zion is basically Miles Bridges. They are basically the same card, so Zion is going right down here into B tier. Paul George, in my opinion, is one of the best releases in the game, period. I think he's unbelievable. I still think he's one of the best cards in the game. I know I've been using Kevin Durant Opal over him, but I'm not going to lie, I prefer Paul George. He does everything well, and the only reason why people don't talk to him as one of the best cards in the game is because he doesn't have that Opal glow. If he did, he would be seen as one of the best cards in the game. And then we have got a slightly worse Paul George in Rudy. I'm going to put him in, oh, this is a close one. I'm going to put him in A tier with the potential to move up to S tier. He's absolutely fantastic, one of the best value cards in the game. Then we got Gallinari, who's one of the most underrated cards in the game. So I'm going to put him into A tier. Gallinari is fantastic. Release is unbelievable, green's everything. 6'10", got solid dribble moves, and he's just super underrated. That's the only way I can describe him, is underrated in this game. Then we've got Kevin Garnett. So I'm going to put Kevin Garnett up in S tier as well. A little bit of a bad release, but if he had a good release, not only would he be in S tier, he'd be in probably overall S tier. So he can play realistically 1 through 5. And speed boost, has got a handle, can go by people. I don't think he's quite as good as Dino Raja as a point center, but he does have Hall of Fame limitless range, can guard anybody, can dunk on anybody. He's a fantastic card. Then we got Brian Scalabrine. Ooh, this is a tricky one. I'm putting Scalabrine up in S tier as well, for the same reason Paul George. I think I prefer Scalabrine more than most people do. I just think his release is money. I think that releases money. He can climb people up. He can play at the 3 or at the 4, and he can play both equally as well. He's that little bit more versatile, and I think he's just that little bit better than someone like a Gallinari. And I think he's just that little bit better than even like Ryoko and stuff, and Hachimura. So I'm going to put him up in S tier. Then we got Dirk Nowitzki. So this is going to be a controversial one because Dirk splits opinions. I'm saying that right now. Dirk splits opinions. I'm putting him in B tier because I think he sucks. Like, some people love Dirk, some people hate Dirk. I'm on the side of hating Dirk. His release is terrible. He's got, like, he can't even hit a fadeaway for some reason. He can't really do anything really in the game. Can't speed boost, can't really play defense that well. He just doesn't do anything particularly well. It's a pity because Dirk's one of my favorite players in real life. And even the people that did make videos talking about how they think Dirk is the greatest player in the world, I can guarantee you you're not going to be seeing them using Dirk in their squad because no one will use Dirk in their squad. He's just not very good. Then we've got Andre Iguodala, who I am also going to put in that same tier for the reason that he's just too undersized to play the power forward position, and two, while being too undersized for power forward, he's also undersized for small forward position. Like, I don't think his release is spectacular, but he can go to the basket and stuff. He's just kind of, if he was a small forward / 2 guard, he'd be a pretty good guy to play at the 2. However, he's not. I'd take all of these guys over him. He's too undersized to play both his positions, and suffers from the same fate as Miles Bridges and Zion, that are just too small. If these guys were able to play a 2 or an inch taller, he'd definitely be up tier. Anthony Davis, no question about it, is S tier. Arguably the best card in the game. A lot of people do think he's the best card in the game, and if you think that, I'm not going to argue because he's absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And we got KP, Kristaps. Again, a no-brainer. Kristaps Porzingis is S tier because, honestly, he can go by any. He's a demi. He can go by anyone. He can shoot from anywhere. He can dribble. He can handle. He's literally a demi. So, yeah, he's up here in S tier. Then Tim Duncan. And this is another one that's going to split opinions. And I'm sorry, just because there's a notebook glow does not mean this is a good card. I'm putting him in B tier. And again, you guys might be saying, oh, but he can speed boost and he's a center. He has arguably the worst release in the game. You just don't guard Duncan. You literally don't have to guard Duncan. Now, trust me, Marvin Bagley is better than Duncan. Straight up, Marvin Bagley is better than Tim Duncan. He's got a broken jump shot. He's got broken, not a good post game. He can take post hooks and he can run kind of fast. Like, that's really it. That's really all you're getting with Tim Duncan. And for that reason, I can't justify putting him up there in A tier because at least all those cards in A tier, I don't think if I put them in my team, they could be a liability. Duncan, while he is an okay card, can definitely be a liability. Then we are going to go on to Larry Bird. Another fairly obvious one. He's going up here in S tier. Not really a card that I'd use too much, but a card that a lot of people really, really like in this game. Then we got Giannis. Well, like, Larry can obviously do everything. He can handle, he can shoot, he can do a bit of everything. He's got unbelievable stats. Then we got Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I'm going to put Giannis here in A tier as well. I'm going to put him in the same tier as Isaac because I think they're almost the equivalent. Giannis does a lot very well, but doesn't have anything on the point guard Giannis just because of the range extender. But he gets in passing lanes, he runs the floor, he moves well, he shoots well, so he's a really good card. Then we've got Kawhi Leonard. And this is another really, really close one. I'm not gonna lie, I like Kawhi Leonard. I really do like this card. The more I use him, the more I like him because his release is really good. He shoots the ball well. He rebounds well. He gets in passing lanes. He kind of rebounds well. He's tall-ish for the small forward. Well, not too tall. Not too small for the small forward position. Definitely will not be playing him power forward, but overall still a pretty good card. I think he's probably the worst of S tier, but I think he is definitely above the guys in A tier. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. This is the power forward tier list. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up.